What is going on, everybody? So, I am back today to talk about a film that was just released to Prime Video recently. And the reason why I was excited to watch this film is because it was directed by Dave Franco. And I actually just recently did a review on Dave Franco's directorial debut, The Rental, which was actually a pleasant surprise. I really enjoyed that film. I thought it built suspense up really well. I thought it was very well shot. I thought the cinematography was great. And so I know this was more of a romantic comedy that he was approaching, but it also was starring Alison Brie, who I absolutely love, who is his wife. I think she's a really great actress. And also starring Danny Putty, who was in Community, who I'm also a big fan of. So I was really excited because of the cast of this film. I was really hopeful that it would be entertaining. And the movie I'm going to be discussing today is Somebody I Used to Know. Somebody I Used to Know is directed by Dave Franco. On a trip to her hometown, workaholic Allie reminisces with her first love, Sean, and starts to question everything about the person she's become. Things only get more confusing when she meets Sean's fiance, Cassidy, who reminds her of the person who she used to be. So I am happy to say I really liked this movie a lot. I don't think it's perfect, but I think that it's really well directed and really well acted, and I'll talk about that a little bit more when I get into the review. So as the description states, we're introduced to Allie, played by Alison Brie, and at the beginning of the movie, she's working on this like dessert TV show, like reality TV thing, where she's doing this interview with this guy. He gets really emotional, and it's really hilarious, and she finds out that her TV show is being canceled, that she's been working on for years and years and years. And so she's kind of broken up about it. She's trying to figure out what she can do next with her career, but her boss says, hey, take some time off, do some things for you. So she decides to fly back home to see her mom and just kind of go back there and decompress and try to figure out what she wants to do with her life. So she gets there, she stays with her mom, and she goes out one night to this bar. And while she's at the bar, runs into Sean, played by Jay Ellis, and they have this whole night together. They go to all these places in town that they used to visit when they were dating. They have this really wonderful evening, and she ends up kissing him, and then they go their separate ways. Well, what ends up happening is she ends up wanting to talk to him more, so she goes to the house that he built for himself, knocks on the door. Her mother invites her in because her mother is there, and she finds out that he is engaged to marry this young woman. And so she ends up deciding to stay because the mother asks if she'll be the cinematographer for their wedding. And it's this whole, will she try to fight to get him back? Is she trying to just figure out where she is in her own life? And getting to know her character a little bit more, and the film kind of plays from there. So what I really liked about this movie is how vulnerable it was, in a way that showed the flaws of these characters, terrible things that they were willing to do to get what they want, but you can understand where they're coming from in every situation. So Allie's character, played by Alison Brie, she was dating Sean at a young age. They were really close together, and she kind of gave it all up for her career. She left. She wanted to pursue the thing that she loved, and he did not want to leave the hometown. And so the two of them kind of went their separate ways, but coming back together, they're trying to figure out, did they just make a mistake, and is this something that they could make work? Well, when Alison Brie meets Cassidy, played by Kiersey Clemons, she sees so much of herself in her, to where she's this young woman who's in a punk rock band, but Sean's character doesn't really want her to keep doing that. She's really free-spirited and she's intelligent, and so the two women see a lot in each other as well. So that's a really interesting parallel that the film explores, and I really like the complexity of all of these dynamics between these characters. Aside from that, it's really funny, with characters like Danny Putty in the film, and also Haley Joel Osment, who is really over the top and hilarious in this. It just feels like a slice of real life, where the comedy all feels relatively natural. There's a couple moments where it gets really goofy in that rom-com territory that we all know and love, that I'm totally fine with and I really enjoyed. And I think the movie wraps everything up really nice. It explores all of these different elements and handles them all really well. And I know a lot of the negative reviews of this are like, oh, Alison Brie's character is awful because she's trying to ruin this marriage and all that. And it's like, but at the end of the day, it makes sense because of where she's at in her own head. She's not necessarily supposed to be a likable character. She's supposed to be someone that everyone can see themselves in, because we all have moments in our life where we think we're doing what's best for our lives. We think we're doing what's going to work the best, but it's not necessarily the right answer. And so she's in this really lost place in her life that she doesn't know if what she's doing is right. And I love that it's a total self-exploration to where she's willing to be damaging and do these horrible things just to see if she can make a different path for herself. And even though it is mean-spirited, it makes sense to where her character is. If I have any gripes with this movie, and I said this while I was watching it, this film is color graded so dark for a romantic comedy. There are scenes at nighttime that it's almost impossible to see what's going on. And I noticed similarities in the rental that Dave Franco color graded this film, or the people he hired to color grade this film made it very dark. The color palettes are very dark. And for a movie that has somber tones and is dramatic, at moments that makes sense. But for the most part, it's a rom-com. Just brighten things a little bit. There's no need for this movie to be that dark, but aside from that, the cinematography is really nice. There's a lot of attention to detail and the placement of the camera. There's a lot of really nice shots in this movie, and I think this is proof that Dave Franco is a competent director that can make quality films. And both of his films haven't been my favorite things ever made by any means, but they're both solid movies that are really well put together, that show the type of promise that he has as a filmmaker. And I love seeing him and Alison Brie work together on the script for this. You could see her comedic background really coming through in a lot of elements in this. All of the cast of characters that show up are really entertaining. I thought all the performances were really great. It's about an hour and 45 minutes, hour and 50-minute runtime. There's a couple of moments where it drags a little bit, but for the most part, if you're going to watch a romantic comedy this year, this is one of the better options that you're going to have. It was really entertaining. So have you seen Somebody I Used to Know? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was fantastic. I really enjoyed it a lot. I thought all the performances were great, and I look forward to watching it again. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.